Aha, at last, it's telling me I'm live. Zoom is a very strange thing that it tells you you're live way after that you're live. So hey guys, how are you all doing? I can just checking. Yep, awesome. Okay, so I can see the stream now. Hey Anthony, thank you so much for joining live. Hey Nancy, how are you guys doing? Hey Karen. So hopefully you guys are having an awesome day. Make sure you let me know. Let's just make sure that everything's coming through. Can you hear me properly? Can you see me properly? Are you having a good day? Cool, I've got comments coming through. Okay, so day number 4. And today I wanted to talk about the first of like the 3 secrets that I have come to uncover through the course of practicing and testing things on Facebook over the last 2 years, through doing live videos, through posting all the time, like all the time, and also observing what everybody else is doing on Facebook and other social media as well. So secret number 1 is all about sharing. So if you imagine when you go out to a coffee shop or even a restaurant or pretty much anywhere you go, most people are sharing what they're doing on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever. And where this really hit home for me, I was sat on a bench while I was at Funnel Hacking Live. Funnel Hacking Live had ended, big conference. For those of you who don't know, 4,500 ClickFunnels marketing kind of people come together, all go crazy, and then they all go home. But I stayed on for a couple of days because it's a big, long trip to me from the UK over to America. So I took the extra couple of days just to relax before coming back to have Caspian. So one of the evening, well, actually like half the day, I'd walked around this massive outdoor, it was kind of like a cross between a jungle and a really big garden conservatory where we stayed for Funnel Hacking Live. There were like plants everywhere, rivers, waterfalls, fountains, kind of all inside this massive dome, something like 20 acres inside this massive dome, but you felt like you were outside. Anyway, so one of the days afterwards, I was sat on a bench, kind of writing out what I was planning for this actual challenge. And I was kind of like, it was on a bench hidden in a load of trees, but I could see down onto this big fountain area that once every hour, on the hour, the big fountains came out, it played music, those people would come in and watch it and all that kind of thing. And one thing I observed when it got to the hour is people would come and watch the fountain, but they were all watching the fountain from behind their phones because they were streaming or videoing or taking photos of the thing that was in front of them to share on social media. And then every time I've seen something recently, there have been people with their phones sharing it. When Lindsay Sterling, amazing violinist, and she can dance while playing the violin, it's just amazing. She was on stage at Funnel Hacking Live, and everybody had their phones up, streaming it. I've seen this at concerts. I've seen it at other events. When I went out for breakfast the other morning, somebody was sat next to me and they took so long taking photographs of their food that the other person had pretty much finished their food, and this person had only just started because they were just taking photo after photo after photo, I guess, to get that perfect photo to share on Instagram. So it kind of got me thinking, really, like, we're all just sharing when it comes to using Facebook normally, i.e. not intentionally for business. We're all just sharing the stuff that we're doing because we want everybody else to kind of feel a part of what we're doing. It's the whole bringing everyone together. Like nobody, because we're all humans and we're part of a tribe, you know, that's where we all come from. Nobody wants to be out on their own doing one thing by themselves, not really. Even if you're doing something on your own, you still want to feel like there are lots of other people around you experiencing the thing with you. And so the way that I've started to look at how we do everything on Facebook is all about just sharing what you're doing. And Gary Vaynerchuk, who I'm not a massive fan of, but he says one concept that I really, really love, which is document, don't create. And lots of other people have started saying this as well. Just share what you're doing on your journey to wherever it is that you're going, and you will get way more followers than if you're trying to be picture perfect all of the time. A really interesting what's the word I'm looking for? Numbers, statistic. Sorry, it's been a long day for me. So a really interesting statistic is that there are more people now looking at Instagram stories than there are actually looking at the news feed every single day. And what I take from that is that people want to see the raw behind the scenes footage of what's happening in everybody else's lives, then they do want to see that picture perfect Instagram post. So the way that you can be using this in your business to grow your page, to grow everything, is to just share what you're doing. So if, for example, you wanted to launch a new product, there are tons of posts you could do. You could crowdsource the idea. So you could go to your existing audience, big or small, doesn't matter. Ask them what they want. If they don't know what they want, which most people don't, ask them what problems they're having right now. What are they struggling with right now? What's an area that you could help them with? Find out what their pain points are. Even if your audience, and this works really, really well if your audience is really small, because you can have proper conversations, but find out what their pain points are. Then say, okay, well, if I could create this thing that solved that problem, would that help you? The answer is yes. When people are writing books, for example, or courses or whatever it is, put I'm like choosing between this title and this title. Which one do you like best? Which one do you think explains it more? Which one are you more likely to buy? I'm telling you now, I'm kind of pre-warning you that I'm going to crowdsource from you what the t-shirts designs are going to be. So when you complete this challenge, you actually do the things, you get a t-shirt. So I've got 3 or 4 ideas for t-shirts, but I'm going to run the designs past you because I want to know from you which one you're more likely to actually want. And that works really, really well when you're trying to sell something as well. So we haven't even made the thing yet, and we've already got a number of posts that we could do about it. When you see something that inspires you to do something, share that. When you have a tough day and your children have not been playing ball and things feel like they're really hard, share that. As long as you're not sharing whiny posts, as long as it's been tough today, but I'm getting through it, and like here I am saying that everything's not perfect. People love that because they want you to feel that you're normal too and they're just like you. So going back to the kind of the product development thing, so you've got to like the idea stage. If you're writing a book, you could be sharing the chapter titles. I'm going to pick up Jim's book because I love Jim. So you could start reading a chapter. I wrote this chapter today. What do you think? And then you test it and you see how the actual chapter goes down with people. Russell Brunson does this all the time with testing his stories. He tells a story to one person. He tells the story to another person. He tries the story again with another person. And then eventually when he gets to stand up on stage and use the story to sell his things, his story is like almost perfect. It's never going to be perfect because no one likes perfect, and I know Russell purposely leaves in ums and ahs and mumbles and talks too quick and that kind of thing, but you could be testing the whole way through. When you're doing artwork, which artwork do you like more? It's not really necessarily about getting people to choose, it's also teasing them with the knowledge that your thing is coming. And then when the thing is out there, you can talk about the sales that you've got. I know a lady who every time somebody joins her membership course, and I'm going to start doing this on my challenge, every time someone joins their membership course, she gets a post-it note and sticks it on the wall and takes a photo. And now there's kind of like quite a few post-it notes there. And she only started like about a year ago. Now there's like, a decent amount of post-it notes up there. But when she adds people into that and she takes a photo, people in her audience feel like they're part of a group because they're now on the wall. And then people are like, oh, I want to get on the wall. How do I get on the wall? Russell Brunson does this with the 2 Comma Club awards. He puts like a duplicate of the award on the office walls so that everybody goes, I want to be on that wall. Okay, so you can be using things all of the time to share what you're doing on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be the end product. If you're building houses, it doesn't have to be the finished house. Talk about looking around at the houses to go and see them. When you're doing renovation work, the stuff that goes wrong, the stuff that's gone right, and like the whole thing. It doesn't just have to be the picture perfect bit at the end. So Anthony says that his friend requests have increased to a stupid level. This is a good thing. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later on in kind of training a few days' time, but about connecting with people. But you will find that you get to I guess like a tipping point where your friend requests just go through the roof, and you eventually will run out of space. And then you'll have to pick and choose, which is a good thing. But that also highlights why you need your page, because you can max out at 5,000 friends quite easily if you find a hotbed of people who want to connect with you and are interested in what you're doing. Whereas obviously you can't max out a page. So that's why that's why I focused so much on setting up the profile funnel, so that you can literally get people to come in and go through and almost like move them on, so that you can get, make space for the next person. So that's awesome, Anthony. And you said that you crowdsourced, yes, your t-shirt, you did a t-shirt crowdsourced by your gym members. It's really funny. Yeah, and then that's the thing. So when I was talking about sharing, we share things because we find them interesting. And then other people comment because they find it interesting. So when you're sharing stuff, and you need to test this, because you don't necessarily know what other people are going to find interesting. Sometimes I think things are really interesting and everyone else thinks they're boring. But also, like, the vice versa is true. The really boring spreadsheets that I make, or Trello boards, which is just a way of organizing stuff. Sometimes I've got a tracker, like I'm trying to think of the word again. My brain is totally gone this evening. Your net worth tracker. Which I created off the back of reading something in a book, that if you don't measure it, if you don't track something, you don't know if it's growing or not. And so I started tracking my net worth every 3 months. And then I mentioned this in a group, and everyone's like, oh my God, can I have that? And so I thought that was really boring. It's just a spreadsheet, but obviously it's a template. And so just test the different things that you have in your business that you might find interesting, or you might find boring, but other people find interesting. And if you're testing on your profile first, and then you can take the really, really good ones and test them, put those on your page, then that they're more likely to hit. Or, if you've got the capacity right now, you can be putting stuff out on both at the same time, because I've got people who like my page who I'm not friends with. So you're not necessarily going to have tons of crossover. You might have a bit of crossover. But as you grow and get bigger, you should absolutely be putting things out on both pages and your group as well. So does that make sense to you? So Karen says, do all posts have to be public? Right, okay. First of all, there are no rules. You do what you want to do. But I make all of my posts public, because that means people who have friend requested me, who are now automatically following me because we turned on the follow feature, they get to see those posts, even though I've got over 2,000 friend requests and I haven't got any space for more people. So I'm really struggling to pick and choose now, because it's at the point where I can't, because there's just not enough space, and there are way more people I would like to accept than I have space for. So I make my posts public. Now, if, for example, you didn't want to do that because there were some things that you still wanted to keep really private, like I fully understand some people don't want to have photos of their children on Facebook. So if you wanted to keep those, just have those ones as set to, like, I mentioned earlier on like the first day, about having a list of people that genuinely are your super close friends and family, like your actual family. Create that list of people and then share those posts with those people. And then I would make all of your posts, even if you have no intention of friend requesting everybody or accepting everybody, make your posts public on your profile, because you're more likely to get found because other people will see them. And then when your friends comment on your posts, their friends might see them. And Facebook's way more likely to push out the personal profile posts than they are your page, because of course they do want you to do paid advertising, and why should we expect advertising, marketing to be free? We shouldn't expect it to be free. We can just try and use the freeness as much as possible. So yes, Anthony says we're the lucky ones. Do you think it puts people off commenting? From Karen, do you think it puts people off commenting if they know everyone will see their comment? No, I don't, because, well, first of all, I've never seen anyone say that, but then they might not say that. There are people who will never comment anyway. Even if you're in a closed group, even if you're in a private group, there are people, like probably the majority of people, who won't comment anyway. If you look at the comments that people get on some of their ads, the people that want to comment are going to comment anyway. So I don't think that most people in business are going to be concerned, people who want to be your customers, I don't think they're going to be concerned whether other people can see their comment, because even if you're in a closed group, still other people can see their comments. People kind of need to understand that anything you put on Facebook or social media or anywhere really that isn't in a fully secure, as in like seriously secure government style platform is at risk of being seen anyway. So I personally would never put anything on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, whether it's in a secret group or wherever. I would never post anything that I wouldn't be happy with the entire world seeing, because somebody can always take a screenshot. Even if you have those apps, I can't think of the one that what Snapchat started out as you kind of get things that disappear after a while, and people were using them to have affairs and things. Even that, you could have a second device and take a photo of your phone. So nothing you send could be, is absolutely guaranteed to stay safe and secure. So I think people need to understand that anything they put on Facebook is potentially going to be public anyway. And I think most people do understand that. And so that doesn't really put them off from commenting. So hopefully that answers your question, Karen, in terms of who, whether people would feel that. But even that question you could put to your followers. I imagine the people that would be more offended might like to say something because everybody likes to have an opinion, but I don't think it would. Test it, see if you get more comments with a public post than you do with a non-public post. That's the only way that you can really find out. So another one from Anthony says that all coaches and consultants have friend requested me. Awesome. Make sure they're going through your funnel. So in terms of the friend request thing, so I actively, especially when I first started and I only had like under 1,000 friends, and that was only 2 years ago. I think I maxed out at 5,000 about a year ago. But when I first started the online business world, I would go into groups and I would find out who's really active, who are the admins. I would look at posts where people were posting publicly, and there were people that were consistently commenting on there that I thought looked really interesting. And I, without any inhibition at all, friend requested everybody that I thought would be useful, interesting, fun, like all that kind of stuff. And I sent friend requests out, and then I noticed that I then started getting friend requests back as well. And there are certain groups of people who are more likely to friend request than not. So I found that some professional people, as in lawyers, tend to not be as prolific on the friend requesting, but pretty much everybody else feels kind of appreciated and loved by the inbound friend requests. So don't feel any hesitation in sending out friend requests. I mean, I have no shame in friend requesting anyone. And from that, I am now friends with multiple 8-figure business owners. I am friends on Facebook with John Lee Dumas, who's got one of the biggest podcasts in the world. I friend requested Jim. Jim said yes. This is Jim Edwards. I've multiple times friend requested Russell Brunson. He keeps saying no to me. Grant Cardone and I were friends for a short while until I got cold. But I think he has very much a thing of like getting people in and then moving, and putting them through the funnel. And Grant's not doing his own Facebook at all, whereas I know some other people are. So don't, just try and friend request people. And it's a really great tactic, because some people aren't as prolific on Facebook as others, and therefore are happy to just accept people in because they don't know, you don't know that it might lead to some business partnership in the future. And so people are quite open with that. So you should see that that's a really a tactic, a strategy, and same coming inbound. Now, obviously, it's up to you. Now, by turning on the follow thing, you've given people access to you, and so they will see, now start to see your posts. So don't feel like you have to accept people if you don't want to. It's just a very good way of getting kind of your foot in the door with starting a conversation with people. And especially as you're beginning to grow your audience, it's really useful to kind of get the ball rolling in a quick way, because then you start to see people actually commenting on your posts more. And then, so what I do is I start off all of my posting on my profile, except for video. All of my video I do from my page, because I want to be able to make an advert out of it if it's a really great one. I want to be able to see those stats, and I want to have the opportunity to be able to retarget people to watch my videos, because videos are the content that goes out the furthest, the fastest, the quickest. Facebook, if you're doing a Facebook Live, Facebook will push your Facebook Live out to people who do not know you, if it's a public one, i.e. if it's on your page. Whereas if you're just doing a post, it's less likely that Facebook's going to put it out there. And that's because Facebook knows that Facebook Live gets way more interaction than anything else. Because just like this, with you and me here and you there, we're having a conversation. You're asking questions and I'm answering you. And so therefore it's more enjoyable for you and it's more enjoyable for me. And so therefore there is more engagement, more commenting, people watch for longer, blah, 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 blah. Just putting up a video doesn't have that same effect. There's no two-way conversation. So it's not as much fun. And also it's not happening in real time, and people know that, and so therefore they're not that interested in it. Just putting up an image, again, there's no two-way conversation, and it's not even like there's nothing to watch. And then lowest down on the list is a written post. Now, there are some people who don't want to watch video and would rather just read something, but whether or not they are like a minority or a majority, I know, because Facebook have said it, that live video gets the most engagement, and therefore I know that they push it out the most. Like, think about all the updates you get, from people who are doing a live video. Also, you may have noticed the updates you get about watch parties, because people like to watch things together so that they can interact together and talk about it, and that's the whole point of a watch party. And so Facebook's pushing out watch parties at the moment, and then I haven't yet tested whether doing watch parties of your own videos actually gets you anywhere. I've seen people doing it. I haven't quite got to the point of doing it yet, but it is something I will test when I've got some time, because I want to test it and see actually if it gets more views or if it just makes me look like I'm watching myself. So yes, so the real kind of, I guess, key takeaway for today is that you need to just share things just like you would do in normal life. And if you're not by nature a sharing kind of person, remember that other people like to see what's going on. And so you sharing the good stuff, the stuff as it's happening, the bad stuff, everything, will help other people, because they'll see that they can do it too. And that's the really important thing. And when they think they can do it too, they will comment and they will engage and they will come into your world and they will start to get to know you. And by sharing stuff all the time, when you then meet people in real life, if you ever get to the point of meeting people in real life, even if you've only ever known them online, you will feel like, and they will feel like, that they know you already and that you've already got some kind of connection. So rather than having to start from scratch and meet someone and get to know them and then start to like them, you're already going to jump over all of that and get to the like stage by the time that you meet someone, or by the time that they actually invest in your product, your service, whatever it is that you're selling. So just think about using social media as a way of jumping over the meet, like, know, trust, I guess, kind of mountains. So you're going from one side to the other in the simplest, easiest, shortest, most leveraged way possible. So yes, so start sharing and think about all the things that you could be sharing. Like, no one has ever said that there's too much sharing going on Facebook, because it's just getting more and more and more and more. So you're going to need to create content as much as you possibly can. And the easiest way to do that is just to have little snapshots of what's going on in your life, what's going on in your business, rather than having to sit there and think up new things. Now, I am going to give you, and it's probably going to be on Sunday, I'm going to give you like a massive cheat sheet of loads of different posts and styles, and like how you can create content in like loads and loads of content in a really short space of time. But the easiest way to just get started now is to just start sharing the things that you're already doing. And I promise you, not everything's going to be amazing and not everything's going to hit, but you're going to get to figure out your audience. And over time, your audience will change with you as well. So right now, your friend list might be just full of your friends, your friends from your home and from your work and around you and that kind of thing. But over time, if you want it to, it can grow into an audience of people who are interested in what you sell. I'll use you guys as an example. The majority of people in this challenge group I am friends with. We may not have ever spoken, we may not have ever met, but we are Facebook friends, which means that you're seeing the content that I'm putting out, you like it, and therefore you've invested in the program and I'm hopefully helping you. So I would personally like to see you all sending out friend requests, accepting those friend requests. But if you don't want to do that willy-nilly, then don't. But get people to start following your stuff and pretend on follow, start doing public posts, and let's make sure that they are going through into your page, so and then into your lead magnet or your group or wherever you want to send them next. So hopefully that has sparked some ideas for you guys. Let me know in the comments how, what kind of things you're thinking about, what you could be sharing, what you've done today so far that you could share, what you are going to be doing today that you could share. I mean, I'm going to give you some examples of when I got started. So I was doing local networking meetings like 3 or 4 times a week. It was killing me. But I was sharing that I was going somewhere. When I got to a venue, I would share, generally they were in quite nice places. So I just share like, oh, here I am in a marina, there's some boats while I go and have breakfast. Here's some things that I learned while I was at the breakfast. I met this person today, I'll tag them in the post. All that kind of stuff. Oh, I had to go, when I used to do lots of property viewings, I went to this house, I valued this property, and all that kind of stuff. So just share, just get sharing. You will find your voice by sharing. That's the quickest and easiest way to find your voice, is just to start sharing, telling stories, but sharing what you're doing. And some people might like you, and that's okay. And some people will love you, and that's okay. And you want to start sharing so that you can get rid of all the people that aren't interested in what you do and keep all the people that are. And that's the whole point of it, is to attract the people that love you. And the best way to do that is to share your content with them. So you have to start sharing your life. I heard a quote. I unfortunately didn't get to see him, but there was a guy whose name escapes me because I'm having one of those days. Sean Stevenson, who spoke at Funnel Hacking Live last year. Now, I've seen the recording, but I didn't get to see him live. But he was talking about when there is a sea rescue and a helicopter comes in and it has to decide who to go and save, because there are 4 or 5 people in the water and you can't save everyone. There's not enough time, there's not enough space in the helicopter. What do? When they drop down and splash into the water, they save the people that are already swimming towards them, because those are the people that can be saved. And those are the people that you can save. And those are the people that you can help with your social media and with your products and services, are the people that swim towards you. How do you get them to swim towards you? You share your content with them. And then they self-identify. They raise their hands and say, hey, yes, I am interested. And then they come towards you. So that's the whole point of sharing. So get out there, start sharing. When you've shared something today on your Facebook, on your page, on your profile, I want you to just come back into the group and let me know and give me a hashtag share that you have shared something, so that I know you are taking action. Because if you want your t-shirt, you have to actually take action on what I'm teaching you. If you want the results, if you want your audience to grow, you have to take action. It's not just going to grow on its own. There is, some work to do. It's not hard, but you have to still do something. So come back on this video, give me a hashtag share when you have shared something from your life, your business, whatever it is, on your Facebook profile and page today. And then I'm gonna add it up to the yes, you're completing what you're supposed to be doing, and then you can get your t-shirt at the end of the 2 weeks. And I also put I practice what I preach. I put up a live yesterday on my page, and I talked about having a prize for you guys, for whoever has the most success, and having different things that count towards it. So not just the biggest growth, but also the person that contributes in the group, the post, the person that has the most growth, the person that comes out of themselves the most, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I was kind of running just a video to people, because it's a way of sharing content of what kind of thing should I offer you guys as a prize, and some of the things that were suggested. So I said, an iPad. But then we were talking about the equipment that I use. So my recommendations of microphones, which are things like my Shure one, which I will show you. Nancy said she shared a lot on Jim's profile. There's my microphone, or I've got a desktop microphone as well. This is actually better, but loads of people recommend this one. But it sounds way better on this than this is for my phone. Yeah, so and I've got like, I'll see if I've got them on me easily to hand. No. So I have two different tripods. I've got a stronger, sturdier one and like a smaller one that I carry around all the time. So anyway, so I was thinking about like things that I could have as prizes for like number 1, 2, and 3. So, you know, feel free to recommend whatever you'd like to win. I did also say I've got some like Amazon gift cards and stuff like that. So that was a thing that I did today, yesterday, which was just sharing the ideas that I have that literally come into my head as a way of doing a video that's going to get some engagement, actually find out what people want, but also let people know about the challenge. So it's all interweaving together, but it's literally just sharing what's in my head at the time. And that's what I do. That's how I've grown my audience. And it works really, really well, because then when people meet you, they get to, you know, they know you. People meet me all the time and go, oh, you're just like you are in your videos, insanely hyper. And I am really high energy, but also I'm very authentic. There's no, this is what I'm like on my videos. And then when you meet me, I'm terrified of talking to anyone or anything like that. I'm just who I am. And it doesn't matter if you're the person that's more introverted, but if you're showing that on social media, then people are going to like you for you, and they won't take your products and then suddenly be like, oh, this isn't what I expected at all. People will already have bought into how you sell, how you teach, everything. So go out there, go share. Nancy's already done her sharing. I wonder if I should tell Nancy to do her own sharing. No, you're doing it for Jim. So that's awesome. Maybe go and share something else today. I'm trying to think of something, maybe like something that Jim's thinking of doing in the future, some kind of ideas that he has. I know an idea that Jim's kind of like coming up with in the future that might be a thing to kind of see how the audience react to whether this would be a good thing to do or not. So yeah, so get out there, go share, have an amazing day, and I shall see you guys all this time tomorrow. And I'm going to do them every day. If you can't make it every day, don't worry, the replay is always here for you to come back up on. But obviously, if you do join every day, then you can ask questions, I can speak to you, we can bond, and it'll just be better for you because you'll get more out of it, because we'll be talking about your specific business. So ask your questions, always be asking your questions in here in the group, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a great day.